We are back on Kivumbi 2017. Thanks for staying with us. We've just taken a look at the vote that's taking place in Kencom with Lofty Matambo and the voters at the KTN News polling center at Kencom. But Susan, I wanted to ask you, because and a lot of those are young people, but basically what people are saying is, I want food prioritized. I mean, some of the needs of the Kenyans are very basic. And yet the manifestos that we have, I'm even trying to take a look at the one, for CORD at the time, and it's enhance the use of ICT for increased productivity. And this is all well and good, but Kenyans just want the basic things, right?
That's true. And the reason why I say that is because even when we used to go to the field and have meetings, forums, whether you call them NGO forums, most of the times young people would tell us, don't buy us the food, the meals and the refreshment that you come to buy us. Just give us the transport refund. I'll go and buy my mom a packet of sugar, a packet of unga. And for a long time, we had tried to ignore it because, you see, when you get money from donor funding, this is exactly how it's structured and those kind of things. But later we realized that what young people want is just money to be able to feed themselves. That packet of milk is so important. But our manifestos don't address those. Our manifestos look at the enabling environment, the high issues. Yes, they'll talk about jobs, but you're only talking about the infrastructure that needs to be laid for this to happen. Like I know that the issue of the manufacturing industry, I think we've been talking about it over and over, but it's not responding to what a young person needs. And that's why I have an issue with manifestos, Yvonne. In fact, from where we sit, I think we have shifted and said we don't want even to influence the political parties' manifesto, because even when they are there, they haven't done what needs to be done. And I'll give an example. For example, CORD had a manifesto, and they had committed to promote a 24-hour economy. But that doesn't mean that the people who are elected under CORD didn't have any reason to actually promote a 24-hour economy culture in Kenya. So what we are saying is that I think what we need to do is get to a level where we demand to get answers from the candidates instead of just saying, I will put it down, because you haven't listened to my problem. You haven't listened to what I need.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Yes.
Are they people-centered, or is it about the candidates themselves and the vision that they have for the country? At what point is it participatory? Should it be? Susan?
Yeah, it should be. And I think for us, in fact, as an organization, what we've decided to do is we generated questions for presidential candidates. And we asked them, do you commit, for example, to have a Ministry of Youth Affairs that is responsible for coordinating? Because we know we have been shortchanged before. And your answer can either be yes or no. So I will know if I'm voting for Raila, if I'm voting for Uhuru, I expect this or that. Or what is your commitment around the manufacturing industry? So you put down, you answer the question that I want answered, not necessarily putting down what you think I want to hear. Because I think that's why we've been having a problem with our manifestos, where it's generated by the technocrats, but they haven't taken time. Of course, they'll say that they can rely on research, that was done by Alex and those kind of things. But really, that's not what people want to hear. What are your plans for feeding me? What are your plans for ensuring that I have security? What are your plans to ensure that I have a job, I can get an income? What are your plans to ensure that then the environment is conducive for me? So SGR is good. Many other things are good. But remember that is it the basic needs? Those three basic needs. Right. We need to go back to a socialization, the sociology and those kind of things. We'll remember that they really matter to any person.
Wallace, I want you to tell us that story, because I think it may illustrate.
Do you really want to know the issue?
Yes, we do. As openly as possible, you've had an experience with
2 stories,
with
actually.
manifesto.
The first one
if you can make them really quick.
Very quick. The NAC manifesto in 2002.
Yeah.
I actually ended up writing a whole chapter of that NAC manifesto, which is why I'm saying you shouldn't see how laws and sausages are made. And we didn't set out to write our manifesto. It's simply one of the principal people there asked us to write term papers and things like that. But the more interesting story is in 2013, 11 years later. So when I was in your job, when I used to do what you do, so we went for the CORD manifesto launch at the KICC. So it's this very glitzy, glamorous event. Everything's well organized and coordinated. So when the manifesto was actually launched, so I got a copy. This nice little pamphlet thing, opened it. So it was all very interesting. As Prof says, you could read it within a few minutes. So the thing that jumped out at me was one part. In fact, let me just quote it directly so I don't make a mistake.
Yeah.
So one part that said, CORD on page 12, that said, we shall seek to control exchange rates to ensure that imported consumer goods, energy, and manufacturing inputs don't lead to high prices. Now, that's a very, very big statement to make. You're basically going back on more or less 20 years of policy to bring back exchange controls. The time you have to go to the central bank if you want to fly out of the country and make an application and things like that.
Right.
So I mentioned it on social media, on Twitter, and I was attacked. You have no idea what you're saying. You got this wrong. So I quoted it. And I said, maybe I don't have enough economic knowledge, but what does this mean? So eventually I had an opportunity to talk to two of the principals, literally the people who were the principals of the political party and the political coalition. And I said that question to them. So I said, what do you think of our manifesto? He said, a very good manifesto, but economists and business people might have a problem with you introducing exchange controls. Do you know what the response to me was? But we're not doing that. I said, but it's right here in your manifesto, it's on page 12. They said, no, you misunderstand it. And I said, so I quoted it to them. So I'm holding a microphone in one hand and this booklet in the other, trying to quote it. And I said, here's what you say. I am not joking, and maybe it's me, but it looked like those guys were hearing about that for the first time. On a document they had launched on national television, well, more or less internationally because of all the social media. And it just tells you what we were saying earlier, that these things are written by someone else, because you have to tick a box that says manifesto, you have to tick another box that says campaign, you have to tick another box that says this. So they outsource it to an Alex, to a Wallace, to a Susan, to Prof, whoever it is, and say, go give us a manifesto. So they come up with this very nice looking document. And you'll say, you know what, this thing is nice because it looks like a Labour Party manifesto. It looks like manifesto of Party X in Germany or whatever it is. Go ask this person about those details, he has no clue. And this is a person who is supposed to actually deliver on that manifesto. The second thing was what Prof was talking about. So when Jubilee delivers SGR and say the laptops, what informs the prioritization? So can I legitimately come and complain and say, I did not want SGR and the laptops. What I wanted was education. What I wanted was this.
Right.
So where is that question of prioritization of this manifesto? So most of the time is, let's make every single promise in the entire world.
Okay.
Let's see the ones that resonate with you. So young people might say, you know what, it's good because it has stadiums.
Yeah.
A parent might say it's good because it has free secondary education. Police will say it's good because we'll finally no longer live in this house we used to live in, we'll live in better housing.
Yeah.
So throw everything at the wall. You will come and encounter
what
the one that you
sticks.
really like, take it, vote for these guys. But fact is, they have not prioritized anything. So when even they come and say, Jubilee legitimately can say we've delivered SGR, we have delivered the laptops to a certain degree, but someone else to come and say, was that the priority for the country?
Yeah. Was that what I wanted? And that's what the voters out on the streets are saying with Lofty Matambo. We'll come back because I want us to discuss, so what happens after the 8th of August, on the 9th, on the 10th, on the 11th, and thereafter, how we start to keep them honest. But, you know, we've been talking about the origin of political manifestos and where that takes us. So have those colorful events to launch these political documents always been a part of Kenyan politics? Nick Wambua now focuses on the history of manifestos and how the different regimes implemented their promises.
Kenyan politicians have since independence used political manifestos to attract votes. It is an art that has now been accommodated by all other political aspirants in the political arena. Politicians and political parties attempt to outwit each other to see who comes up with most convincing promises.
The new party is formed,
making political manifestos an easy way to penetrate the hearts of the electorate. Political pundits argue that it was a focus on the kind of a constitution that Kenya will attain independence with, driving KANU and KADU to open doors to manifestos.
2-3 times the manifesto was basically kick out Moi. That's what it was. After that, well, they developed further. Of course, with the NAC government, they came in promises of free primary education and things like that, things that we saw. And then PNU came with Kazi and Dele, and they had the pledge for Thika Road and infrastructure developments and things like that. And then, of course, in 2013, you had the things like the free laptop project, the stadiums that were supposed to be built and things like that. So that's the history of manifestos in this country.
And you'll find that KANU, Kenya African National Union, was pushing for a unitary system of government. And therefore, when they went to the 3 Lancaster House conferences, apart from the policy outline that they gave in terms of the governance architecture they would have, the very common one was that we want a unitary system of government that is not federal-like.
Okay, so let's talk about, you know, some closing and wrapping thoughts. I want to start with you, Alex. how time flies on the show. But let's start with you in terms of how we keep them honest. I mean, a manifesto is a scorecard, is it not, to say this is what we're going to judge you by? And I think, like we all agreed in the beginning, that, at least with this one, people are asking Jubilee, so what happened to this and what happened to this? And they can tick off the ones that they have done well. So what do we do on the 10th of August, the 12th, in December, this year, January?
If you ask Mr. Kenyatta, I might suspect that he would say that this was a tripwire. That 72 glitzy document is actually now becoming problematic. I'm sure his conscience is not settled very well with it. In terms of the scale of ambition that was intended in that document, and the fact that this became part of the prop in the political competition process. And as Wallace says, nobody cares about the commitments or even the detail. They don't even remember what is in there. And it is not them. They don't put their soul and blood in the production of those. It is not a rendering of my vision and my plan for the country. It is something that I need because the other guy is going to wield the same thing.
So how do we make sure that
I guess that's the question right now, because as we're saying, in the US, for instance, for you to talk about a health plan, you got to go to the congressional budget office to cost the plan, and then you got to put it in a transparent way for people to start weighing into it. So I think now what's going to happen, as we're talking when we're coming down, is that yes, you can promise me a Lamborghini, but it's going to cost me, right? So you're going to tell me how you're going to help me pay for my very nice Lamborghini. So the question really is, you're going to tell me all these kinds of things that you want to do for us, but the country is going to go back and say, how much does it pile on the debt? And then at the expense of what? And then it comes back to the question, can we afford it now? What is the first order of priority? As we've been saying here, the country, the citizens, the electorate is asking, what have you done for me lately? And it happens to be that I can't afford unga lately.
Right.
So then the question then is, how do we make sure that we deal with this unga problem? One dimension is, a lot of the people who complain about unga is because it's income. I can't afford the food.
Right.
Or we don't have the capability to produce enough food.
For
Farming,
everybody.
agriculture is comatose, the rural economy is in rapid collapse. How do we start to restart and re-energize the economy, give jobs to the youth who are numerous in huge numbers, well-educated, but basically adrift? So it's really, how do we then take these big things and then translate them into some really small
consumable bits,
bite chunks that we can then start to do. But those things have to resonate with the people. Then the leader provides a political plan to action some of those aspirations.
Okay, great. Wallace, I know you can do this in 30 seconds.
Mine is fairly simple. I don't blame the politicians for coming up with, in effect, documents that we don't care about. Because if you're trying to get someone to marry you, or trying to get someone to date you, what you will do is tell them anything. Whatever sticks is what is. So if you're a tall guy, you pretend you're tall. You want someone with money, you'll borrow money from someone and come and say, look, I have money.
Right.
So they'll do that, and it's their prerogative to do so. The onus is on us. And the onus on us is not necessarily to read the manifestos or to do this or to do that. Let's not give them an automatic vote. So if I come from the strongholds, they call them in Kenya, for Jubilee, I come from the strongholds for NASA or any of the smaller parties, it should not be an automatic vote that, Uhuru is running Kikuyu, so here's my vote. Raila is running Luo, so here's my vote. Let's make them work for it. So in the same way when, again, back to the bad analogy, when you're dating and you go and say, look, I have money, and she almost says, prove it. So the same thing, if you come and promise me this, prove it. I'm not going to give you my vote automatically. It's a very difficult thing to do, though, getting rid of the politics of identity. But if we do that, then that's when they'll start caring and start putting things together that actually makes sense.
Okay. Susan, very quickly. Sorry.
Do we need manifestos? I think we do, but not detailed manifestos.
Okay.
What young people want and what everyone actually just needs to hear is, on your question number one, this is how I intend to respond to it. And then the other question is, are they manifestos for an individual or are they manifestos for the political party? I think we should shift the conversation to, they should be manifestos for the political party that then gets into power, and that one that can also be used to hold even the opposition accountable. But I think after 10th, 11th August, we will hold them accountable to their commitment. And I think the commitments can be done whether it's filling questionnaires where you respond to people's questions, or even just having that manifesto.
Right.
But remember, there's room for operational plans that can be drawn by the different governments.
So keeping it simple. Prof, finally?
Yes, I think
1 minute.
Yeah, manifestos are roadmaps. They should specify the vision and aspirations of the political party. Beyond that, leave every details to development plans and budgets. And that means that you will have clarity of mind in terms of getting the people to choose what they want, the kind of direction they want. And that's really what other earlier manifestos were all about, whether it's the Kano manifesto or other manifestos we have mentioned.
So just having a clear vision and how you get there.
And where you get, how you get there.
All right, thank you very much. Professor Peter Kagwanja, Susan Kariuki Mwongera, Wallace Kantai, Dr. Alex Awiti. We want to go back to Lofty, I believe, and take a look at the final vote and how that's going. Lofty?
Naam, shukran sana mwenzangu Yvonne. Bila shaka ndo funga kazi hapa, tunalikunja jamvi hili la kura Kivumbini, ambapo kura zimpigwa si mchezo. Haraka upesi sana nitakuwa natangaza matokeo haya, ambapo kigezo cha ajira pale katika manifesto wa Kenya hawa wamesema kipate kura 8 peke yake. Alafu kura 14 ni katika afya, kigezo cha afya. Wale ambao wanataka afya toke katika manifesto wamepiga kura 8, kura 14. Alafu elimu kura 8 pekee. Ajira cha kustazabisha wengi ni vijana waliopiga kura, wamesema kipate kura 21, na kile kigezo, ile ngome, ule muhimili ambao umechukua kura nyingi zaidi ni chakula, kimepata kura 109. Kwa hivyo kufikia hapo tunaomba kufunga kituo hiki cha kupiga kura cha KTN News hapa mbele ama mkabala na jumba la Kencom katika kura Kivumbini kwa sasa. Kwa niaba ya mwenzangu Zubeda Kome ambaye amekuwa nami hapa katika mchakato mzima huo kujadili, nasema asante sana na kikosi kizima ambacho kimefanikisha mpango mzima hapa. Tamalizia hapo kwa sasa, tutachukua pumziko fupi, lakini kumbuka katika muda sio kwa mrefu atakuwa narudi tena Yvonne Kwara na taarifa kamili za KTN Prime, na vile vile Joe Geo ambaye ni mhariri mkuu atakuwa narudi baadaye na mahojiano zaidi katika shughuli nzima hii ya Kivumbi kuendelea hadi saa 5. Nasema asante sana kwa wote ambao wamefika kushiriki katika kura hizi, au sio? Tutafika tena hapa Jumatatu katika kura Kivumbini, au sio? Shukran sana kwa wakati wenu na kupiga kura. Nasema maoni tutatoa zaidi.